What's up, you guys? Today I want to talk with you about an area of health and healing that I feel does not get enough attention. So by the end of this video, you'll have an idea what critical piece you're missing and practical steps that you can take to actually take care of it. Before we dive in too far, where are you at in your health journey? I want to know if you are open to sharing what you're going through right now in your health. Type in a comment below, and now let's dive in. So we see it all over, right? We're told to buy stuff, add things in constantly, like take a magnesium supplement. You're not getting enough magnesium. Take this supplement, sign up for this course, buy this collagen. All these things, they're good, but if we don't pay attention to what I'm about to share, all that stuff, it's going to be like you're working against the current, like you're swimming upstream. You're not really gaining ground, even though you're adding so much in. It's not actually benefiting you as much as it could, and that is because not enough of our attention or not enough of the conversation is focused on what we should be removing or not eating or not taking in. It's not sexy. It doesn't feel good to take stuff away. Taking away cigarettes, alcohol, caffeine, sugary foods, those things, they trigger a dopamine release in our brain, and we actually feel it in our entire bodies because we have receptors even in our muscles and our legs. Cortisol, serotonin, dopamine get released when we do something that feels good to us. And yes, we need those things. They're part of a healthy neurotransmitter balance and hormone balance. But I think the problem becomes a lot of those things that we're doing, even though they trigger a release of feel-good chemicals, don't add to our health, they take away from. So then we kind of begin to see this very interesting sort of paradigm where the dilemma is we feel our best once we've taken them away. Usually is that a lot of these activities, vices, these crutches, these things that we do, even if they're just on the weekend, like smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, a lot of these things, they promote inflammation on the inside. And then it's not just the one cigarette, it's not just the one drink or the one meal, it's an accumulation of all these things together that end up causing a storm and adding to the smoldering fire that inflammation is. And we actually deserve much better. We fool ourselves and we say, I need this, I deserve this, but on the flip side, once it hits the inside of your body and is affecting the inside of your body, that's actually what's actually physically happening, and our understanding of this feels good. It's not giving the return that it should. We should be feeling good, but also be healthy at the same time. So that's where, when it comes to removing stuff, it's not easy to do that, but you often feel the best you've ever felt when you remove things that are bothering you and inflaming you, because inflammation, sometimes you don't know how bad you feel until you take something away. I want you to think about what you want to leave behind in 2022. Because a lot of times we know what it is, other times we need to discover a little bit more. And stripping away things, it doesn't feel good at first, but it is also cathartic in its own way, because when you're taking care of yourself and you're doing something that you know deep down you need to do, like taking care of your body, and you're taking action out of, I have the best interest in mind, I know that I want to feel better, and I know that I want my health to reflect this. That's an experience of its own that comes after that hump that we go through when we give something up, or we stop doing something, or we remove something. And with this intention, you can feel good all the time instead of just looking for something to feel good in the moment, if that's what you're using. So some really good examples that would give you a ton of wins, a ton of quick wins in 2023. If you were to remove these things, you would gain so much health and wellness back into your life. And that is, stop smoking cigarettes, stop smoking anything, really. Find out what foods are bothering, like getting to the bottom of a food sensitivity, and then actually removing and then thirdly, not scrolling your phone kind of like you can't stop, like on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, especially before bed. Putting your phone on the charger 2 hours before you're supposed to sleep, and not really looking at it until the next day. So what will really happen when you take these things away is the inflammation associated with those things. It may not seem like there's a lot of inflammation going on, but when you remove it, healing can then take place. And so that's the intention behind removing, is being able to allow your body those grounds for healing. So you're not always just undoing all the work that you're so carefully taking these steps to do. Like if you're spending money on probiotics or, you know, really healthy food, but then you still have all of these other things in place that cause inflammation, you're wasting your own time and your own money is what it comes down to, and your health too. But I'll never forget this. I was working in the hospital as a nurse, and there was this guy that would come in after having a stroke, and he had a lot of things to work through, but the main thing that really stood out that we knew we could grit a lot of ground covered with him was he smoked cigarettes. And I was teaching him, as nurses, you know, we teach our patients before they leave the hospital so they can be set up for success and they don't need to come back to the hospital. I was teaching him about, okay, smoking cigarettes is one of the biggest risk factors for having a stroke, and if you don't stop smoking cigarettes, you will have another stroke. As a team, we set them up with what they need, but he ended up not stopping smoking. He had another stroke, lost his complete ability to take care of himself. He couldn't move his arms, legs, he couldn't feed himself, he couldn't swallow, and then he had another stroke, and then he passed away. And it was just this lesson that I learned that this is so important. Think of it and find the motivation that we need to get that edge to actually stop something. So now for the fun part. Every single thing that you remove, I would recommend only removing 1 or 2 things at a time, because then it can get overwhelming and feel like you just have to stop and go back to everything. But add in 1 or 2 health-minded activities or supplements every time you take something away. So you're now removing inflammation. Okay, now you're adding something that restores, like a probiotic, for example, and then adding in 5 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing, so you're getting their parasympathetic system, your parasympathetic nervous system activated. We need to encourage our nervous system to actually go into parasympathetic mode, the relax, the rest and digest mode, so it can heal and restore our bodies, and we're not just always in fight or flight, drinking caffeine, you know, being on stimulant, doing all of this really, you know, super busy productive work sometimes can put us into a state where our parasympathetic system, it's not activated, it can't activate, it's on the back burner. We can't restore our bodies in that state. There's a lot more that goes into it, of course. These are just examples of small, like little steps that you can do that they end up compounding is the idea. You'll find that what ends up happening as you go down this path, as you keep making the decision to remove the inflammatory thing and add in a restoring thing, you'll find that you feel so much better. Your brain feels calm, you feel energetic, you feel like you're well rested, and then you don't feel like you need all of these things that you used to do to cope, just do life. I mean, of course the temptation could always be there, especially if you know how good it feels, but like you also have that experience of like feeling better to motivate you to keep making certain decisions. Let me know what you're ready to face, what you think you might need to stop doing, what you think you might need to remove in this coming year to meet your goals, and I want to hear it in a comment below if you're willing to share, and I will see you in the next video.